happy to see all of you. Welcome, Unakabo, to our annual watch party and fundraiser. It has been months in the making, and we're truly honored to have all of you here, especially since this is happening on a Tuesday, right in the middle of the week. Thank you so much for joining us. We've asked you to join us today for three reasons. On the one hand, it's that this time, well, no, actually not this time last year, but every year in the fall, we try to make it a point to come together as a community. Last year we were in Seattle. This year, because of changes to our programs and as we work to strengthen our work and our team, we weren't able to actually host a physical event. But we didn't want the year to end without connecting with our community. So that's why we're here. We're also here because our partners are doing incredible work, and we think that it's important for you to hear from them directly. We can't bring them to, if the mountain can't come to Muhammad must go to the mountain. So in a way, we've gone to the mountain. My team in Sierra Leone traveled to different parts of the country to meet with our partners and to talk to them about the work that they do, and a little bit about their stories. So you'll be watching 5 short videos. I think the longest one is 6 minutes, from our partners talking about the work that they do. Lastly, we're gathered here today because we have unmet need to continue to expand education access in Sierra Leone. So today, and between now and the end of the year, our goal is to raise $100,000 in undesignated funds so that we can put our resources where they're most needed. So today, because of the time difference and geographical, the geographical changes, and also internet lag, the slides are being driven by Joanna in Seattle and I'm in Accra. So for the slide changes and also for playing the videos, she's going to, I'm going to have to say next slide because I can't actually control the slides from here. Otherwise, it would probably take 30 minutes for one video to load. So every time I say next slide, Joanna will cue the next slide. So Joanna, next slide, please. Okay, so here's the highlight for today's program. This is not in specific order, but these are the key parts of the agenda today. So in the first hand, I'm going to tell you about who we are and how we work. And then we're going to go right into our partner spotlight films, so you can hear directly from our partners about the work that they do. Either during or after the program, the best part, the very, very best part, we're going to invite you to make a gift to continue to support our work. And lastly, we're really honored to have a representative from the McPherson Family Foundation with us to share their experience as a donor supporting the Learning Foundation and other work at Schools for Salone. Next slide, please. It's okay. And your host for today, it's me, without all the, good looks that I usually have because I had to wake up.
Vicky, could you turn your volume up?
Sorry. Sorry. Is this better?
Yes.
Move my microphone. Okay, fantastic. So if you met me last year, then I need no introduction. But if you haven't met me, I'm a Sierra Leonean journalist. I also do PR and comms work. And I'm also a board member at Schools for Salone. And when I'm not doing that, I write children's books that celebrate both culture and teach phonics to little children. Next slide, please. Okay. So Schools for Salone is a Seattle-based nonprofit, and we work to support the education ecosystem in last mile and low income communities in Sierra Leone. What does that mean? For us, it means that we're working in places that need the most support. And there are several different things in Sierra Leone that could keep a child out of school. And what we try to do is remove as much barriers to access as possible. while making sure that the quality of education that children receive is top tier, and it prepares them for to be productive members of society. Our three pillars are access, equity, and quality. And for us, access means making sure that children actually have schools to go to, and that the places where they go to learn are safe, have access to water, hygiene, and sanitation. We also work in equity and inclusion, specifically in Sierra Leone. There are more barriers to access to quality education for girls than boys. But in our work, we found that something as simple as a menstrual kit or having sex education can be the difference between a girl staying in school or coming to school at all. So we work on equity. Last but definitely not least, the most important part of the work that we do is that we make sure that children aren't just sitting in classrooms, they're actually learning, and we're improving learning outcomes. We do that by supporting teacher training, making sure that the teachers are certified, making sure that they also have the tools that they need to do foundational learning support to children in their first 3 years, learning to read, literacy, and numeracy. While literacy specifically is not a key pillar of ours, it's a big part of the work that we do in Sierra Leone. So we build and equip libraries, we distribute learning materials, and we run reading clubs across both our schools. So schools for Salone supported schools and other schools that we may not have built, but that we provide that support to. Next slide, please. How do we work? So the usual model in Sierra Leone is that, organizations, NGOs send out, expatriates to come into Sierra Leone to lead program delivery or project delivery. And that's really the norm for most foreign NGOs. But at Schools for Salone, a big part of what we do is powered by being radically collaborative. And that's that local partnerships are at the heart of the work that we do. Our programs are implemented exclusively by local education champions and experts. So we have 5 key partners that we work with, including Program for Children, Uman Tok, the Sierra Leone Book Trust. And then we work with Clinton Caulker, which is sometimes difficult to explain, but Clinton basically does, while he does not formally have his own organization, he replicates the work that Program for Children does in the south and southeast of Sierra Leone, and Clinton does the same kind of work in the north of Sierra Leone. And lastly, we work with the Learning Foundation, who run most of our teacher training and book club and reading programs. At the end of the day, our goal is very, very simple. We want to mobilize as much resources as we can to expand access to quality education in Sierra Leone, whether it's inner city schools or in last mile communities. Next slide, please. So today we're going to start off the video spotlight with our oldest partner in Sierra Leone, Program for Children. Program for Children was founded in 1980. And over the years, they've built as many as 65 schools across Sierra Leone. And they're a key partner running programs beyond building schools, but also running our scholarship programs. And in actuality, our other partner, Uman Tok, came into being as kind of a project within Program for Children. Through working with Program for Children, we rediscovered the need for reproductive health education in these menstrual kits. And that's how one of the project managers within Program for Children then became the operational lead for Uman Tok, and we separated that project from Program for Children. So sit back, relax, and we're going into our first video spotlight from Program for Children. So Joanna has brought us to this great view where I can see all of your faces as she works to get the video up and running. Thank you.
Program for Children is a registered non-governmental organization in Sierra Leone that works in communities that are in need of social and educational support, children and families that also need the same facility, and then even community development in a manner that exhibit, sustainable development in the communities that we work with. And then since after the war, Madam Cindy Nofsigan, the executive director of Schools for Salone USA, came to Sierra Leone 2004 in search of her friends. And then a lot of schools have gone as a result of the atrocities of the war. So many people killed, over 50,000. So we thought for a moment that we should come and revive to see how we can rebuild the schools, that have been destroyed by the war. But with the support from Schools for Salone and the friendship between Madam Cindy Nofsigan and the Honorable Joseph Williams Lamin, we've been able to build over 45 schools in Sierra Leone, and we are now building the 46th one. We've been able to build 40 septic toilets, and as well as 25 water wells, 3 libraries in the country, and then 750,000 hygiene menstrual kits have been, distributed, and then we make them, we produce them. They were coming with them for us from America, but because of the leadership we have, a program for children, we were able to source some funds from the American embassy for $60,000. So we are now able to make our kits in country, and then we produce them to the girls that need them so much, and the women in the communities. So, and then we also have supported teacher training to 150 teachers in this country who've attained their courses in TC, HTC, BSc, and all that, just to capacitate them, to give them the tools they need to operate, to thrive in the classrooms. So with Program for Children and Schools for Salone, we've done a tremendous job in this country. But with the support from Schools for Salone, we've got the schools built, and because of these schools we have, they gave us the real foundation that we need, to teach our sexual and reproductive health in these schools. And this sexual and reproductive health has helped a lot of kids to stay in school, including the girls. But because when we build these schools, even the workers that we employ there, they benefit economically, because we don't take people from outside and come with them in the communities. We only come with technical people. We maintain an ongoing relationship with the schools. We give them school supplies, the books, and the teachers need to make their notes. The kids need to study. So that alone will help them to improve on the learning outcomes. And the sustainability is just there. And that is why we are trying to train more teachers. And for us in Sierra Leone, they have this lack of maintenance culture. At Schools for Salone and Program for Children, every year or so we renovate the over 45 schools we built. We renovate them, we give them furniture, we maintain, we continue to supply the teaching and learning, the school supplies to them. So that continuity is there.
Thank you. So if you in that video, you see some production word B-roll of some visitors, so Cindy and some other guests. So every year, at least once a year, Cindy does make trips to Sierra Leone with members of our donor group. Sometimes it's to start a new school, other times it's to turn the sod. And recently, she actually just came back from Sierra Leone now, from one of those trips. And so you might know some of the faces in the video, but that's who you're seeing in some of the B-roll interacting with Program for Children staff. And the reason why Program for Children is saying we do sexual health reproduction, and that's giving back, connecting back to that relationship that I said between Uman Tok, one of our other partners, having been kind of like incubated within Program for Children before it became its own standalone NGO. So we're going to get into our next video. Joanna, next slide, please. So now we're going to go to the Learning Foundation, which is co-founded by 2 Sierra Leonean educators, Bidemi Carroll and Inde. And what I really like about them is just that they're doing the work that I like to say is like unsexy work in this education ecosystem, education support that we do. You know, building schools are tangible things. Buying books, you know, are tangible things. People can touch them, they can see them physically, and so oftentimes people are more interested in supporting physical school structures or school supplies, but teacher training is not something that you can touch, right? It's just something that is very, very crucial in the learning process to improve learning outcomes. But it's sometimes much harder to get support for teacher trainings. And so we're going to go into the video so they can share how they're making their impact in schools across Sierra Leone.
I am Sayumara, Program Manager for the Learning Foundation Sierra Leone. We are into literacy development, where we train teacher librarians to be able to teach reading in their schools, because we realize that there's a gap in terms of reading and being able to analyze text. So we work with teachers in the designated communities. We have some in Freetown and some in the villages. At this point, we have about 12 schools that we're working with, 6 in the primary and 6 in the secondary school. So the reading club program is actually upping the skills of students to be able to read, and also giving the skills to teacher librarians to be able to manage the library and run the clubs effectively. And this has produced results. Even recently, we've got one of our students who was very nervous and not confident enough, has shown so much skills in reading and public speaking, now has become the head girl of the school at Vine Memorial School. So that's one of the exciting news for us. And then also we are into teacher training program, wherein we work with schools built by Schools for Sierra Leone. And so all the funds we get through Schools for Sierra Leone, we use it in terms of teacher training in the upcountry schools, where we are currently working with 66 teachers who from 22 communities. And they are into 2 levels. We have 18 in level 2 and 48 in level 1. We consider the aspect of equity and that of equality. We give them the opportunity for them to be part of our training, but also we look at the aspect of being where you are. So we know that there are diverse needs based on their skills. So we try to test them and put them where they belong in terms of grouping and do our trainings. So that's the work we do, and we want to commend Schools for Sierra Leone with this partnership, as it has enabled us to do classroom management and also phonics development with the teachers we work with. And we have trained before over about 150 teachers who have gone through our trainings, and we want to continue this because there are a lot of requests right now for us to work with the other schools that are built by Schools for Sierra Leone, but we cannot open the number if we don't have the funds to do so. Our training has brought a lot of impact, especially when we go to communities where now we see teachers have showed high confidence level in terms of their teaching, not only being knowledgeable in the content they teach, but also learning the procedures or steps to take in terms of teaching. Most times when in our previous monitors, we'll be going out to see teachers that they teach without a lesson plan, they don't follow the content. But as we go along with our training, we're seeing that they're using their lesson plans and they're teaching based on the content. So that is really good. And also we're seeing that our teacher training has also benefited the teacher volunteers who are into the distance program that is sponsored by Program for Children through Schools for Sierra Leone. We've seen that all of the teachers we work with right now who are into distance education program with the government are really performing well, wherein some teachers are bringing distinction in their performance in the teachings, in their exams. And also based on our trainings, their teaching practices that the distance education program requires them to do, help them to come out with better grades than before. And even the enrollment of students in the school has increased because of our training, because now the students see the benefit of going to school. The teachers have brought new skills to motivate the learners to stay in school. So these are some of the benefits that we have noticed in the trainings we've done over the years. There are a lot of challenges, but I will just keep it to few. One of it has to do with space. Currently, we're in a shared space when we're wishing and hoping that we can have a space where we can have a space for at least few staff to host and do activities on, and also a space for storage as well. The other challenge is also a resource center that is highly needed in order for us to have as a training base to be doing all our trainings for our teachers on every quarter that we request for our training. So that is really needed, and it's a challenge at the moment because sometimes we keep switching between Mafoika and that of Inbo at Kebbi Town. So having a resource center will be really great, and it will bring so much benefits in the training we do with the communities we work with right now. What is next for us? We're looking at a possibility of growing our skills for the next 5 years. We want to see how we can expand in terms of numbers by reaching to, if not all of the schools built by Schools for Sierra Leone, but we want to hit 90% of the schools that are built by Schools for Sierra Leone. And we want to see where we can increase our staff base because there's so much to be done and there are few people at this moment. So we want to see where we can increase our staff base to be able to grow a lot. And most importantly, because we have realized that we're having high staff and teacher turnover in the trainings we do, we want to see how we can have funds to at least incentivize our training program to make sure that it's a way of encouraging the teachers who are participating in our training, and also we make sure that they stay in order to complete that 2-year cycle of training. So with that, we want to see how we can grow our skills as staff to the school communities that are established by Schools for Sierra Leone, to see that we all work together in order for us to be able to reach to that height.
Thank you. So we're gonna go to so that was the Learning Foundation spotlight. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we're gonna, so if you saw in the video, SIO Learning Foundation is currently working from an office space within Uman Tok's office in Freetown. And Uman Tok's office, first of all, it's more like a mini factory. It's more like a mini factory. And so that they even have space for Learning Foundation to be there at all is a miracle. I've been there, and they've definitely outgrown that space. Both organizations need that kind of space. So we're gonna go to the the Uman Tok video now. Thank you.
Uman Tok, it originates from Program for Children Sierra Leone. Program for Children partner with Schools for Salone USA. And Schools for Salone build schools with Program for Children. So after the Ebola session, the schools where Schools for Salone deal with Program for Children, we find out say, Boku pikin them drop out of school. So we investigate the reason why this happened. We see say, girl pikin, they're not able to understand who them be. And especially the importance of menstruation. And when they day at the period, they not get waiting then they use where then they continue for go school. So with this investigation what we do, we been get for reports to Schools for Salone about that, because picking them not they able to go school when they at the period because they not get waiting then they use. And because of that, Boku they drop out of school. And some picking them, they're not able to do well at school because then they miss days for go to school. Picking some day mess for 3 days, others 4, others 7 days. And you find out, say, all the days they're not able for go school. And when examination can come, they're not able for do well. And because of the challenges of puberty, they don't understand how their body they work, and the urges of puberty, then they go astray. Some, they become pregnant and then drop out of school. And also the parents, because they don't understand, then they feel shame for talk to them, picking them about growing up. So that's caused the picking them where then they go astray. So we report this. So we partners when our Schools for Salone USA. Schools for Salone partner with another organization when our Days for Girls International. Days for Girls International gets a very nice curriculum on sexual reproductive health education. And they get a patent design when at the Days for Girls reusable menstrual pads. So we get the first person where come up from the US can win a top chair of Days for Girls named Dorcas. Dorcas come and gets the first sexual reproductive health education session with me, and come with kids from the US. So we start for going at the schools, then give the education, and then we give the parts to the of-age girls. So where we give the education, we start for give the education from age 9, because we want for catch the picking them when they're young. We want for make them know waiting they expect as then they grow up, and how we're able to tackle the challenges of puberty. So we give the education now. And from 2016, when we start this education, until 2019, all the schools then, where Schools for Salone get, at that time they have over 20 schools. We find out, say, we not get no picking where drop out of school because of teenage pregnancy or early marriage, because we even give the education so the parents for make them able for talk to them picking them. They're not for feel shy for talk to them picking them about growing up. So in 2020, because of the growth of the need of the kids then, by other organizations, other schools, people then come, they ask for we part them in the education. So we start for make kids where we they give to other schools then or other partners then at cost recovery. So 2020, we decided, say, Uman Tok for come out from program for children and for make it will be an independent entity, so that we go able for grow and reach more women, more girls, more people. So in 2020, Uman Tok became an NGO, a separate entity. A great impact done day from the time we start to girl picking them, woman them, boy picking them, and even man them. Because with the give this education, we they create awareness of growing up. We they help the picking them for make them go able for cope with the challenges of growing up.
Thank you. Uman Tok is one of my favorite organizations in Sierra Leone. Before I joined the board at Schools for Salone, I hadn't heard of them. And I remember going to visit a couple of years ago, and it's like a factory and a daycare. They're like children, little babies on the floor. And it's just a really great facility. And one of the things that I also learned is that, boys started to ask, because initially the reproductive health education was just for girls specifically, and the boys were feeling left out. So now the organization does day kits for girls, but also when they go to mixed schools, they also make sure to do a separate boys sexual reproductive health sessions. And then they also started giving the boys their own days kits, which has, I think, underwear and soap, just a little token, because it really was like, oh, you're leaving us out, we don't get anything. And I think that that's really amazing. So at the end of the videos, we'll have a Q&A session. Kim, who used to support the work that Uman Tok does in Sierra Leone, is here in case you have any questions about their work. We'll have a Q&A at the end. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So as I said earlier in the program, we have a representative from the McPherson Family Foundation, Nathan Jerome. This year specifically, they expanded their support to the Learning Foundation, which was the previous video partner that we spotlighted with SIO, which was founded by Bidemi and Inde. And Nathan's going to just share some quick words about why they support Schools for Salone and the Learning Foundation. Welcome, Nathan.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody else for taking your time out of a Tuesday night and joining. The McPherson Family Foundation has been giving to Schools for Salone for several years now, and we've been very impressed with just all the work they've done. We came in when they were probably at 35, 40 schools, and they've continued to grow that while also finding new ways to help the schools that they've already built. Making sure they maintained, then doing the teacher training, the libraries, the reproductive health sessions. But we really, I think in the past year or so, we wanted to push them on improving the quality of the teaching. You can have a building, you can have kids showing up, you can have books, you can even have lessons, but if you don't have quality teachers, you're only going to go so far. And so we really wanted to support them in pushing for, let's start thinking outside the box. How do we train as many teachers as possible, and make sure they're
And you're
trained
watching by
well.
yourself? Huh?
Sorry.
What's going on?
Sorry, someone's coming through.
That's all right.
Sorry.
So anyway, we've been super impressed with both the Learning Foundation and, of course, Schools for Salone in jumping at this opportunity to really progress the teacher training. We have told them that we are going to put some quite a bit of money behind this, and we're really hoping that others will jump on board, because, like I said, you can have the building and the books and even the community behind it, but if you don't have high quality teaching, you're just not getting out what you're putting in. For any of you that have had kids go through elementary, middle school, I think you're always so impressed with teachers and what they have to go through day in and day out and what they mean to your kids. And I think we should all think of that in the same way for these students that are in Sierra Leone, that these are teachers that are often doing things they're not maybe even fully trained for, or didn't expect to do, or have been asked to do. And so I think it's great that we're now saying we're going to support you as much as we can. We're going to give you that training. We're going to make you feel even better about and confident about what you're doing on a day in, day out basis, so that these kids can get high quality education and make sure they're prepared for whatever is next career-wise, school-wise. So really proud of them. Really, they've really took our call and said they would step up. And so I hope we can get some other people on board, because I think this will be a really cool thing to get all these schools with great quality teachers. So thanks for giving me a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nathan. We so appreciate you.
Next slide, please. Okay, so we also in Sierra Leone work with the Sierra Leone Book Trust, and their work is primarily to distribute learning supplies and to train librarians and teachers in library management. The organization's also built 3 libraries. And again, similar to training teachers in quality education. I grew up in Sierra Leone at a time when it was the norm to go to the library. Like, our parents would drop us off at the library on Saturdays, and we would just be surrounded by all these books. It was very, very normal. When I started going back to Sierra Leone, and I was a volunteer teacher for about 4 years with an organization called the Forum for African Women Educationalists. This was in between 2003 and 2007. I remember just, I was taking kids to the libraries, and they had never been to the library. Like going to a place that just had books was like a wow factor and a wow moment. And so I think that as we talk about learning and education and basically trying to create an ecosystem around quality education for children, access to books. It's also why I write children's books, because I feel like books should not be like these wondrous, like unseen or rare things to Sierra Leonean children. It should be normal that children have access to reading materials and learning materials and libraries and books. So I'm always excited to talk about our partnership with the Sierra Leone Book Trust. Next slide, please. Oh, no. I think we have a
Shouldn't it be
mismatched
video?
slide. So the video first.
My name is Saliu Toure, the Executive Director of the Sierra Leone Book Trust. This is an organization that was established in April 2002, just after the war, to sort of provide much needed reading materials for schools, community libraries, academic libraries, and NGOs around the country. And the essence is to provide the much needed reading and learning materials just after the war, when all libraries were devastated, destroyed, and vandalized. It is a not-for-profit organization in the education sector. It is also a charity organization. We are partner to Schools for Salone, and this partnership spans from 2006 to date. And in the partnership, we've developed the capacity of teachers, manning Schools for Salone, school libraries. We've developed the capacity of volunteers and community members, plus teachers that man Schools for Salone community libraries. Then we also provide and support Schools for Salone schools with prescribed textbooks and supplementary readers. This has created so much impact for Schools for Salone schools because in some of the remote areas that we have our programs, aside, without the support of Schools for Salone schools, these areas will have been left out without much needed reading and learning materials. But Schools for Salone, through our partnership, have sort of impacted, these communities, these schools, and even educational outcome of our pupils in these areas that we operate with Schools for Salone. Through the partnership and support from Schools for Salone, the Sierra Leone Book Trust, we've trained 103 teachers in Makali, Mambuma, Koribondo, Jama Bongo, Buma, Anzarul Buma, Anzarul Nguleu, and with the support again from Schools for Salone, we've provided core textbook and supplementary reading materials to all these libraries I've mentioned, close to about 6,800 core textbooks and supplementary reading materials just between March 2022 to February 2023. So this is the kind of impact our partnership with Schools for Salone has created, because for now we can boast of excellent educational outcomes. So this is how far Schools for Salone intervention has benefited literacy and education in Sierra Leone, with us on the ground to implement some of their programs. We want to increase the number of schools that are involved in the Inspire Readers program, because we've discovered that it enables children to love books, it enables children to love reading, and it also helps children to come out with good educational outcomes. And also we want to see how best we can improve on some of our community libraries, because electricity is a major problem in some of our community libraries. So we want some intervention in those areas, because if we are talking about technology nowadays, you cannot talk about technology in the absence of computers, and computers can only be operated when we have the required electricity to power them. So this is also a challenge, especially for Koribodo Community Library, Mamboma Community Library, and SDA Makali. We want to see where our peoples can confidently stand, read, and speak good English in this country. So that is our focus.
Thank you. I see some questions coming in the chat. So we are going to get to the questions at the end of the program. So definitely, if you have questions that are coming to you as the videos are playing, please send them our way, and we'll answer them at the end. And if there's any question we don't have the information at this time, when we send the recording after today, we'll definitely send you everybody the responses. So that was Sierra Leone Book Trust, and we're at our final video actually. So please go to the next slide. So as I mentioned earlier, Clinton Caulker is our partner in Northern Sierra Leone. Currently he's leading work, I believe, in Kabbalah and Falaba districts, which are the topmost provinces closer to the Guinea border. And he does the same kind of work that Program for Children does in the South and the Southeast and in the Western area. So that includes going out to, whenever we have requests from communities about the need for schools, he's the person that goes to evaluate the need, evaluate the community's commitment to the school, support connecting the teachers in those communities with our teacher training programs, and really just I've never met him, but you'll see why he's such an important partner for Schools for Salone. Please, next slide, please.
Before ever would they select the communities where they go, and they come unannounced after the request, and they come unannounced. I can see if they need day, see who side the picking and day, if they correct, if they need school or they don't need school. So if they need the school, they see how the school turn outside and they sit down for school. If it did day, if it not day, then I go back. Then as I go back, maybe I do the second visit. I can see now for know how many picking they get, and see if the town or they come or like how they musaya. So we see the commitment with the people they ready for do, the young community participation and everything they get for do. If you okay with me, then I put them together. Then I approach Schools for Salone USA now.
I run the Serbia for 15 years. Then the school, we started from 2004. And the school will be get now a mod school. Now stick then where they be cut, then tight stick then, choke with dirty, not to block at all. So after 5 years, then the under a court, the thing for done, be there and that strain day. Where rain come, the flash going inside. Then from there, we rain come, the beginning all the commodities go to the house after the rain cuts, then they come inside back. So we Schools for Salone, we then come in and see this 3 years per week. And say this, we really need for a lot of helping people here. And this school now 4 classrooms we get, and all equipped with furnitures. And also they give me back learning, teaching and learning materials. Yes, everything they inside the store. And also, they not left on day. Then they also where they don't be school. They need for trained teachers. So from there, then they give me the priority to make I choose 5 teachers. Waiting for we help me for can teach now. Then from there, they give them scholarship. Now then they pay for them, do everything for them. Yes. Then one they don't go for good 3 years. Then one themselves they don't sit the NCTVA. Now then they wait for the result.
Would they make sure say the teachers they were not trained and qualified? Would they send them go for distance learning in HTC, TC, and BED? So would they send them for that? Then they do that course there for 3 years, with an agreement between we, the teachers, the school, and we School for Salone, right? Then they sign a contract that. After we don't train them down for the 3 years, the commitment they for they at the school for another 2 years before they go even make up their mind for change, for go other side for go continue their career. So that the commitment that they want to make them make.
Inside this chiefdom, the school, it kind of day. It power pass all the schools them where they around here, around this area. And the Pekin SSF who go gets now is about 167 Pekin. Some of them Pekin really they strain. And the strain in the sense that some of them, their parents they not been they afford the uniform for them Pekin. But some parents them been they come to me, they tell me say now Pekin one send in a school, boy you no get the uniform. But I said the name community school. Now we get her. So the house dress, let them dress with it and they come with her. The staff them what I get now. About seven staff there I get now 7 teachers, and among these 7 teachers, only me when I a pin coded teacher, and all the 6 teachers, 5 of them they don't go through the TC, they don't sit NCTV. 2 of them now a community teacher, they not go that distance they eat. So now that's more I make. I say I cry to School for Salone for letting really help we, for them picking a day where they not get uniform, and then picking a day back where they know where then teachers them back where they know go at the distances, for letting help we, for letting themselves able to get the young paper.
Thank you. So in that last video, Cindy just went to Sierra Leone in October, I believe. Yeah, and Ken was there, and just people who, so it was a group of people from our donor group who've supported the construction of this school that they went to launch, but they also went to another community where they turned the sod for a school that's now starting construction. And again, this happens whenever we have a new school and we have donors. I think last year there was one, there's another school last year, I forgot the name of the community where Cindy went, but basically we have our donors come to Sierra Leone to open the school and be there and see the impact right on the ground. So that's the end of the partner spotlight. As you've seen, we have 5 key partners: Program for Children, Uman Tok Learning Foundation, Clinton Caulker, and the Sierra Leone Book Trust. And they make our work possible. We would not be able to do yes, it was a Master Singh B. Thank you, Cindy. We would not be able to do the work that we do without them. Like, it just would not, the work would be impossible. So I'm gonna open the floor now for questions. If you have any questions in the comment section, you can put in the chat. I'm gonna scroll up now and see if there are any questions I missed. I think you can go to the next slide though, while I work through these questions. Thank you. So there was a question that came in earlier about, I think I saw something where someone was asking that some people hadn't been, yes, Timothy was asking, saying that he was in Sierra Leone in July visiting in Moyamba district, and he was told the teachers have not been paid in over a year. So certainly not the case for our schools, but one of the new systems that the current administration put in place as part of the quality education program was to give teachers or approve teachers a PIN code, which is what the head teacher in the last video was talking about. And so the PIN code is basically, if you have a PIN, you're on the government's roster to receive a salary. In many community schools, if you're a community teacher who's not certified, who's not trained, but you're teaching, you don't have a PIN. So it's common for there to be teachers who are in schools who don't have a PIN, but who come to work every day, who teach. In most communities, if you're a community teacher, that means that your well-being, you're basically at the mercy of the community, more or less, and the community will find a way to pay you. Sometimes that lack of payment salaries is the reason why some teachers will start doing lessons on the side, or they'll ask students to bring in extra small money for things here and there throughout the year. And so that is a key issue. And if you're, I mean, you can imagine if you're in a last mile community, that means that even the roads to your community from wherever like a training center would be, it's barely motorable, and you'd have to take like a bike to go somewhere to go get training. And distance learning, how do you do distance learning if you don't have access to like the internet or computer, et cetera, et cetera? So there are lots of barriers actually for community teachers, for them to to earn a living wage. That's a key issue. So yes, there are definitely schools where teachers don't get salaries at all. So that's just the reality. So I'd like for us to, if there are any other questions, Joanna, could you bring up the, are you okay. There's a question in about partnering with, bringing solar for electricity. I don't think at this point that we have any, but Cindy, do we have any ongoing solar project or plans to bring solar to some of the schools that we work in?
Sure. Yes, we actually install solar in all of our schools. We put in, they're very inexpensive, they're like several $100s, and we work with Easy Solar. It was started by a Peace Corps volunteer, and it's a Sierra Leone based organization. And so every school and the libraries all have these low cost solar units. And these units allow there to be light in the evenings so that they can do study sessions. In fact, we were at Maforica and the students were studying for their exams, and so the lights were on in the school and they were studying. So these aren't high powered units that can run computers and do lots of charging, but they do give light so that they can hold meetings in the evenings and study halls and that sort of thing. We have tried the bigger solar panels in the past, and we haven't done that for a while just because they're so expensive and they haven't held up very well with the climate.
Okay. And Timothy was asking if it's possible to sponsor maybe solar to a particular school, like any school in particular.
Are you talking like a big solar system? I mean,
no, I think just to do what you're doing now, like if someone can.
Yes. We put those in all of the new schools, and sometimes, they last for, I don't know, we haven't really had to replace them. They've been pretty durable, but, they cost $300 to $400 to put this in a school. So yes, of course.
Right. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Oh, Kim, I know you're still with us. Is it 5 a.m. now in Kigali? You're such a champ.
Yeah.
Kim, I wanted you to see, one of the things that we weren't able to capture in our Uman Tok video was specifically the livelihood and skill development component for the women who make the pads. And for me, I think that like that part is as important. And I think it was like probably the one thing that moved me the most when I went to visit. So could you talk a little bit about the women who work to produce these pads?
Absolutely. Thank you, Vicky. So of course, when Uman Tok started as a project under the Program for Children NGO, they had two young women who were working for them. It's since grown to about 15, and that's because of the operations. But those women came from very difficult backgrounds. Oftentimes they were partway through education but couldn't pay themselves to finish the education, for example, at a vocational college. And also we had a few women, one specific woman who came from living on the streets with her children. And through the work that they were doing with Uman Tok, they were gradually able to build their livelihoods, and their children now go to school, which they didn't before. We had one little mascot, Abu. He came to us very ill on the back of his mother, and we were able to make sure that he stayed well. And he's now in school, and he's running riot. And the women also changed in and of themselves. They became more confident. They have more respect from their husbands because they're bringing in a really good wage because of all the work that they're doing. And they earn by piece rates. So they're entirely driven themselves about how much they work, how much work they can get done, and how much they can earn. So you see now the women at the beginning. I remember when I joined Juliet, the women, they weren't really taking care of themselves because they couldn't. They didn't have the extra funds, but now they come to work with beautiful new clothes, their hair done nicely, maybe new nails. Like they feel really proud of themselves, and they like exude confidence. So it's incredible to see that change, and only been a couple of years that you've seen a drastic change in those women. So, and they're continuing to support their greater families too. So it's a huge, huge impact that Uman Tok has made in that regard.
Thank you. Thanks, Kim. So looking ahead, as I said at the top of the hour, because we've come to the end now, I can't believe that hour went by so quickly. But you know, our goal between now and the end of the year is our fundraising goal is $100,000. And what is this going to do? So with this, with $100,000, we basically get additional resources to put money where we need it the most. So because of the structure of organization and the way that we work is that sometimes when we get designated funds to build a school, right? So if we have a donor who's building a school, even though that might bring $60,000 or $70,000 into the organization, it's still $60,000 or $70,000 that is designated for constructing that particular school. So it doesn't give us additional resources to do all the other work we need to do, like quality training teachers and providing learning materials or equity. That kind of support goes specifically to building the school. So undesignated funds allow our leadership to be able to innovate, really, and to say, hey, there's need here, we can urgently respond to that need, or here's a new opportunity, let's test it out, you know, with one of our programs or one of our partners. And also just the operational cost of running our organization. We do have a small team of 2 sorry, and then some other contractors who work side by side to make our work possible. So today our ask is that you continue to support our work, and you can support our work in so many different ways. Of course, you know, just telling our story, right? Sharing Schools for Salone's story with your family and friends, with your organizations at work, and, you know, sharing the great impact that we're doing in Sierra Leone, because I think that there's a universality to this need for quality education that a lot of people can relate to. So we always want to bring more people into our community. So that's one way that you can support our work. You know, if you turn on your notifications on social media so you can get the updates, we're now on LinkedIn, so you can definitely find us there as well. So just like leaning in for our work and sharing it is one great way to support our work. Another way to support Schools for Salone, of course, is the individual donations that you give every single year. While we, you know, of course, with fundraising, the bigger the better. We want more. But the thing is that a little really does go a long way in Sierra Leone. So $50 donations, $100 donations, $300 donations, they go a long way. You know, our teacher training program, it costs about $325, I believe. Sorry, I don't want to. Cindy, I'm right. Am I right, Cindy? Sorry, before I say that. And yes. To train a teacher, and that's for the entire year, right? We can make sure that they do the distance learning programs that they need. So moving to 2024, I think we have about 4 to 6 schools that we want to repair, that need repairs, and these are our schools. We want to expand our bike programs. And the thing about our bike programs is that one of the key issues with girls specifically who have to go to school is when they have to leave their communities, just the walk or taking an Okada, if you are in a place that has an Okada, just that commute put girls at risk for exploitation. Several years ago, during Ebola, actually, one of the key things that came out from the Ministry of Health was that when they looked at the rise in teenage pregnancy and they looked at who was impregnating the girls, it was the Okada riders who were taking them to school, right? So the men who their parents had trusted to take them on the backs of these Okadas to school, they were the ones that were basically exploiting those relationships. So in remote areas, we provide bikes so that children can ride to school, right? You you don't have to walk the distance, and it also means that like they have the tools they need. Year round, we run sponsorship programs to make sure that vulnerable students and vulnerable families get all the additional support. We do have free quality education in Sierra Leone. It's not really entirely free, it's subsidized. And that means that yes, government covers a certain percentage of the cost of educating a child. I think they're spending about 10,000 or 12,000 leones per child, but there's so much that doesn't cover. And so for families that need it in our schools, we provide that additional sponsorship support year round. We would like to expand our work on equity and inclusion in Sierra Leone. We have to produce more menstrual kits. And so the menstrual kits that we do provide now, they do last for 3 years, which is great. But as new children come into our educational system, and also more girls get into puberty, that need is always there. We also want to continue to do more sexual and reproductive health education, both in our schools and partner schools, and whenever other programs request that we do. And of course, we provide scholarships to girls. On quality, we want to continue to do our teacher trainings and provide learning materials, and also equip our libraries, and also even, you know, expand our library programs to other areas that don't currently have it. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you would, so there are 2 ways. There are some people that we know who can give a gift today, and we would like for you to head over to our website. Joanna, can we have the next slide? Oh, I think we've already done the Q&A. Thank you. I'd like you to head over to our website. So it's schools4salone.salslab.org/watch party. You can also go to the website to access this. You can also scan the QR code. It will take you directly to our page. If you'd like to make a pledge, you can just email us directly. Because we know that not everybody can, you know, go online and give in that way. Some people prefer to write checks. That's okay. So please continue to support our work. We would not be able to make the kind of impact we're making in Sierra Leone without your support. It's kind of like you know, the entire puzzle is our partners on the ground, the communities that we work in, our supporters, and then us, right? That's what makes this work possible. We're also really like for people to, as you tell people, you know, spread the good news of Schools for Salone. We're looking to build more relationships with larger donor foundations and larger institutions. So if you work in a place where, you know, that does really good development work, or is always looking for partners or causes to champion, we would love for you to propose, yay, support Schools for Salone. So thank you. Oh wait, can you put, yes, I can do that. I think I can do that. Or Joanna, can you do that? Yeah, Joanna will do that. I was trying to click the link, but no, I can't do it. But thank you so much. Again, we're going to send, so these videos will be on our YouTube, and we'll send them out like a playlist on YouTube. So anybody who wants to watch them can watch them at a later date. We'll also send around just like a roundup of today's event. If you have any questions at all that you weren't able to ask today, please feel free to email us, get in touch with Cindy, info@ schools4salone.org. Joanna, will you be able to put the link in the chat? So I think, because otherwise I'll have to type it. Yes, there it is. So Joanna has put that in the chat, so you can click on it and go directly to our website to make a donation if you'd like to give today. Again, thank you so much. Oops,
Vicky,
sorry.
thank you for running the show. You did a great job. You can go back to
Thank you.
sleep.
No, it's such a pleasure. I'm gonna go right back to sleep. I'm actually not awake right now. It's the
And then
message.
you're going to wonder whether it all happened. You're going to get up tomorrow morning and say, did I do that?
I know. What time is it there? Let me look at my phone.
It's
Probably
now
like
3:45 a.m. It's okay. It's
Oh,
okay.
Vicky.
I'm good. No, I
Thank
love this
you.
organization. So at any, you know, As long as it's once a year, Cindy, I can do it. Let's just make it once a year. Yesterday was my birthday, and so sometimes on your birthday you give the gift. It's not always, in Sierra Leone, actually, when it's your birthday, people ask you for a gift. So this is my this is my gift. So thank you so much for having us. Thank you for joining us. It's been such a pleasure having you. Have a great day. Well, whatever's left.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great week. Bye. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much. Feel free to reach out whenever you want to. We'd love to hear from you.